Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your Crown Jewel post show. Man, we got a lot to go over today, and again, I appreciate y'all joining me on this episode for today's Crown Jewel. Starting off the night, we have Roman Reigns taking on Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight. This was a highly anticipated matchup. The match itself was a good match, back and forth matchup between Reigns and Reed, with Reigns keeping the pace of the match. Reigns and Reed both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Reigns hitting Reed with a trash can, followed by Reigns hitting Reed with a cricket bat in the middle of the ring. Reigns then hits Reed with a kendo stick on the outside. Reigns then grabs a microphone and asks the fans if they want a table. They had to acknowledge him. Reigns then brings out a table, but Reed puts the table back underneath the ring and tells the fans no. Reed then hits Reigns with a chair shot in the middle of the ring, followed by Reigns getting up, hitting a Samoan drop, sending Reed onto a chair for a near fall. Reigns then lands multiple clotheslines on Reed. Reed then somehow gets up, hits a jagged edge on Reigns in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Reed then hits Reigns with a stop sign, followed by Reed hitting a chokeslam on Reigns in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Reigns then hits a Superman punch on Reed for a near fall. Reigns then goes for a spear on the outside, but Breakker comes out of nowhere and hits a spear on Reigns. This allowed Reed and Breakker to put Roman through an announce table on the outside. After that, the Usos are here. The Usos then attack Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Usos then hit a 1D on Braun Breaker in the middle of the ring. Braun then was setting up for a spear, sends Jimmy through the barricade. Jimmy is taken out of the match. Reed then sets up a tsunami on Jay, but Reigns comes out of nowhere and hits two Superman punches on Bronson Reed. Jay then goes for a spear but missed and ends up hitting Roman Reigns. Breakker then hits a spear on Jay. Reed then capitalized with Reigns being taken out. Reed then goes to the top rope, hits his signature tsunami on Roman Reigns, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Bronson Reed. After the match, Reigns tells Usos the whole world thinks that he cannot do it, that he cannot beat Bronson Reed and beat the Vision. Reigns then tells the Usos that this only works one way. Reigns then tells the Usos that he doesn't want to see them until Christmas. Jay then looks pissed off. Jay says that Roman always and only looks out for himself. Looks like some hostility here between the Usos and Roman Reigns. Moving on from that, we have a women's Crown Jewel title matchup. It is Stephanie Vaquer taking on Tiffany Stratton. I thought this was a good match as well. Back and forth matchup between Stephanie and Tiffany, with Stephanie keeping the pace of the match. Tiffany then hits a handspring back elbow on Stephanie into the corner, followed by a devastating Alabama slam on Stephanie in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Stephanie then gets up, hits her Devil's Kiss on Tiffany Stratton, and then Stephanie Vaquer ultimately hits the finish, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match and Crown Jewel champion is Stephanie Vaquer. Hats off to Stephanie Vaquer for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night, probably one of the matches of the night for me personally. It is John Cena taking on AJ Styles. A little bit of a grudge match here. Good old rivalry match. AJ Styles comes out to the ring with his old TNA gear, which I thought was awesome. And then John Cena hands a paper to the announcer. AJ's introduction I thought was awesome. Class act by John Cena. He even mentions, AJ being in TNA, the face of TNA, as well as pretty much the founding father of the Bullet Club. So I thought that was a little cool with John Cena paying homage to AJ Styles. The match itself I thought was a great match. One of the best matches of the night. Back and forth matchup between Styles and Cena, with Styles keeping the pace of the match. Styles then hits a flying forearm on Cena for a near fall, followed by Cena getting up, hitting a shoulder tackle on AJ Styles. AJ then hits a Pele kick on Cena, taking out Cena in the middle of the ring, but Cena gets up, hits a 5-knuckle shuffle, followed by an AA on AJ Styles for a near fall. Cena then hits a skull-crushing finale straight out of Miz's playbook for a near fall. AJ then gets up, hits a scorpion death drop on Cena for a near fall. AJ then goes for a Styles Clash, but John counters it with an STF, but the hold is quickly broken. John then applies an accolade on AJ Styles in the middle of the ring. The crowd chants Rusev, but the hold gets broken. AJ then applies a Coquina Clutch on John Cena, pretty much paying homage to Samoa Joe. But the hold is broken. John then applies a Walls of Jericho. The crowd chants for Jericho, but the hold is broken. AJ then applies a calf crusher in the middle of the ring on Cena, but the hold is broken. After that, AJ then hits a Styles Clash on Cena for a near fall. AJ then goes for a springboard forearm, but John counters it with a Sister Abigail on Styles in the middle of the ring for a near fall, paying homage to the late, great Bray Wyatt. Fans then interact with that. They have their cell phone lights out, the fireflies, if you will. I thought that was a really cool angle between AJ and Cena. AJ then hits an Angel's Wings on John Cena, paying homage to Christopher Daniels for a near fall. AJ and John then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with AJ Styles hitting a dead eye type maneuver on John Cena. Cena then gets up, hits a vintage DDT straight out of Randy Orton's playbook on AJ Styles, followed by an RKO for a near fall. The crowd erupts, chanting Randy Orton and RKO. AJ then hits an AA on Cena for a near fall. AJ then goes for a 5-knuckle shuffle on Cena, but Cena gets up, hits a choke slam, very Undertaker-ish, on AJ Styles for a near fall. AJ then gets up, goes outside the ring, hits a springboard 450 on John Cena. AJ then was setting up for a sweet chin music. He ends up landing the sweet chin music on Cena for a near fall. AJ then hits a springboard forearm for a near fall, followed by John getting up, hitting an AA on AJ Styles for a near fall. Both guys look frustrated. Both guys are trying to secure a win. John Cena then gets up, hits a tombstone pile driver straight out of Undertaker's playbook on AJ Styles, followed by another AA, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is John Cena. Hats off to John Cena for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we got a tag team matchup. It is Io Sky teaming up with Rhea Ripley to take on the Kabuki Warriors. I thought it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between both teams, with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley keeping the pace of the match. Io ends up hitting a moonsault for a near fall. Kairi Sane hits an insane elbow with the assistance by Asuka on Rhea Ripley for a near fall. Rhea then gets up, hits a riptide though on Kairi Sane. Io then goes to the top rope, hits a moonsault off the top rope, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Hats off to Io and Rhea for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, though, we go into our main event of Crown Jewel. It's for the men's Crown Jewel title. It is Seth Rollins taking on Cody Rhodes. I thought this was a really good match too, man. Probably best match of the night, followed by Cena and Styles. A lot of hostility here between Rollins and Rhodes. The match itself, though, was a back-and-forth match between Rollins and Rhodes, with Rollins and Rhodes both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Rollins then pushes Michael Cole. This pisses off Cody Rhodes. He attacks Rollins. Rollins, though, was trying to keep the pace of the match, but Rhodes goes for a disaster kick, but Rollins counters it with a powerbomb on Rhodes for a near fall. Rollins then mocks Rhodes with a little stardust, if you will. Rollins then applies a figure 4 leg lock on Rhodes, but the hold is broken in the middle of the ring. Rhodes then gets up, hits a power slam, followed by a disaster kick on Rollins. Rhodes then hits a Cody Cutter on Rollins for a near fall as well, but Rollins gets up, hits an enziguri, followed by a pedigree on Cody Rhodes for a near fall. Rhodes then goes for a crossroads on Rollins, but Rollins counters it with a crossroads of his own on Cody. Rollins then hits a pedigree, followed by a foot stomp on Rhodes for a near fall. Rollins then grabs the watch. He looks frustrated. He ends up putting the watch on the ring mat. Rhodes then hits a Cody Cutter on Rollins, followed by Rhodes hitting a crossroads on Rollins for a near fall. Rollins then goes to the top rope, hits a diving headbutt coast to coast on Cody Rhodes. This was a great spot, by the way. Rollins then goes to the top rope, hits a Spanish fly on Cody Rhodes, landing in the middle of the ring. Rhodes then hits an avalanche crossroads for a near fall. Rhodes then looks frustrated, thinking this was going to be the spot that gets the win. Both guys are showing frustration. Rollins and Rhodes then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Rollins grabbing the watch. Referee is somehow taken out. Rollins then capitalizes on this by hitting Rhodes with the watch, pretty much laying out Cody Rhodes. Rollins then hits a foot stomp on Rhodes, and then Rollins goes to the middle rope, jumps off the middle rope, hits another foot stomp off the middle rope, pins for the 3, And your winner of the match and the winner of the Crown Jewel Championship is Seth Rollins. Hats off to Seth Rollins for getting the win in this matchup. Couple of things I want to talk about with you guys, specifically about Crown Jewel, man. Number one, I think this event definitely surpassed what we got at WrestlePalooza. I think what we got at WrestlePalooza was shit compared to what we got at this year's Crown Jewel. I think from top to bottom, with the 5 matches that we're getting on these PLEs, this was probably one of the best PLEs that we got in quite some time. I know the ESPN grade came out for this show. They gave it a B or possibly B+. I 100% agree with that. This was a really, really good show. I'm not sitting here saying it was the best PLE from WWE, but it was one of the better ones that we've seen in quite some time, in a couple of months, to be honest with you. I thought this was a really good card from top to bottom. And there's a lot to digest from this event, man. Obviously, opening up the show, we got we have Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. This was a highly anticipated matchup for both of these guys. I mean, obviously for Bronson Reed, being that he's from Australia, this was a big-time matchup for him against Roman Reigns. But it told a story, man. I think the biggest thing leading up to Crown Jewel was the stories. I think both SmackDown and Raw did a fantastic job with the stories, with the build, leading up to these matches at Crown Jewel. We see Braun Breaker getting involved. We also see the Usos getting involved. And then we hear this rebuttal from Roman after the match, telling them, and clear as day, by the way, that, people think, Roman told both the Usos that people think that he can't beat the Vision, that he can't do it on his own. So it pissed Roman off. And he told both Jimmy and Jay, look, I don't want to see y'all until Christmas. Now, are we going to see Roman before Christmas? Yeah, we're going to see Roman at this year's War Games. I think now the angle is going to be, what can the Usos do to get in the good graces of Roman Reigns? Now, there was some back and forth here between Jimmy and Jay when it pertains to Roman. Both those guys look pissed off with Roman. Jay even had mentioned that Roman's out for himself. You know what I mean? So there's some confusion there between Jay and Roman. And Roman was trying to take Jay underneath his belt to help him solidify himself being a main event guy. And I mentioned this last week when I did my Raw upload. Where's Jimmy Uso going to fit in this? Because we know the potential of Jay. We know the potential, obviously, of Roman Reigns. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. The question mark in all of this is Jimmy Uso, especially leading into this, Crown Jewel event. I think what they're trying to do here is, I think they're going to try to do whatever they can to get in the good graces of Roman Reigns, because this is all leading us up to War Games this year with the Vision. In some kind of capacity, that's going to happen, and Roman's going to be involved in this matchup. Now, was I happy with the outcome of the Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns match? Absolutely. This was something where Bronson Reed had to come into this match and come out of this match looking strong. The Vision had to come out looking strong leading into this year's War Games. They needed to get a win, especially a significant win. And what better way to do that than beat the tribal chief himself in Roman Reigns? This helps out Bronson Reed. This puts Bronson Reed in a whole different echelon right now with the fact that he beat Roman Reigns. And not many people have done that as of late. So this puts Bronson Reed in a whole different echelon right now. And it also makes the Vision strong coming into Monday Night Raw. Obviously, I want to hear from what Bronson Reed has to say, what the rebuttal is going to be from Jimmy and Jay after what Roman had told them after his matchup against Bronson Reed. So I think this is starting to slowly heat up, man. I think we're starting to get this bloodline storyline going a little bit again. I mean, we all saw what happened on SmackDown with the return of Tama Tonga and the MFTs, and they all have the face paint or war paint, if you will. It's a whole different look for the MFTs. And again, it's still a part of the bloodline. And now we also have Roman and Jimmy and Jay. This bloodline shit, man, I told you guys, it ages like a fine wine. And now we're starting to get slowly to unravel us, leading us into War Games this year, where you're going to see in some kind of capacity Roman Reigns and his bloodline against the Vision. There's already been speculation. I mean, for what it's worth, the Vision could add another person to their stable, which I will talk about that and what I think the Vision's going to be doing next when I talk about the Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins match, which I thought was one of the best matches of the night. But this is setting up the Vision versus Roman and his bloodline. Jacob Fatu can be involved. Drew McIntyre can be involved. It's going to be very telling to see what's going to happen, at least for the next month on both Raw and SmackDown for us leading into this year's War Games. Cody Rhodes might get involved due to the fact that he had a match with Seth Rollins at this Crown Jewel event, and how basically Rollins did cheat to get the win. So I think Rollins and Rhodes is far from over, to be honest with you. CM Punk might also be involved. He's had some hostility with the Division as well, specifically Seth Rollins. So it's going to be very telling to see where this is going to go and where this is going to play out, leading us into this year's War Games, which I think this year's War Games is going to be incredible, to be honest with you. So we had, Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns. We had that match. We also had Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vacura. I thought it was a good match, to be honest with you, man. I think Stephanie, in my honest opinion, I think it would be stupid for WWE not to strap the rocket ship to her back and send her to the moon. I think Stephanie has a lot of potential. I think she's severely underrated. She's immensely over with the fans right now. And I was happy with the outcome of this match. I know a lot of people are big Tiffany Stratton fans, and Stratton's great. I think Stratton has one of the best moonsaults in the game. But I think it's time for Stephanie to showcase what she can do and be a leader in that women's division on both Raw and, if not, SmackDown, to be the top woman for that division. And I think she has the utmost potential to do so. She had a great match. Now, am I going to sit here and say that this match between her and Stratton was better than her and Io at WrestlePalooza? No. I think, honestly, for what it's worth, that matchup between Stephanie and Io at WrestlePalooza saved WrestlePalooza from being just an awful show. So I don't think this matchup between Stephanie and Tiffany was better than Stephanie versus Io Sky. No, I do not. But with that being said, it was a solid matchup. I was happy with the outcome, with Stephanie getting the win over Stratton and winning the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. But I look forward to what's going to happen next for Stephanie. Who is going to step up to challenge Stephanie for the Women's World Title? And I'm all for it, man. I mean, honestly, it can be anybody at this point, and I'm all for it. So I thought that was a really good matchup as well. Not better than Io and Steph, but it was a solid match at best for Crown Jewel. We also get the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I thought that was a solid matchup as well. Again, happy with the outcome in that matchup as well. But the two matches for me, man, that really, really stood out for me for this show. Number one, I do want to talk about the AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles and John Cena. I thought this was put together fantastically, man. I really did. From the aesthetics of this match, from seeing AJ Styles walking out with the old TNA gear that he used to have when he wrestled for TNA, just the class act by John Cena. I mean, handing that paper over to the ring announcer and them announcing, how AJ Styles was the face that ran the place and what he did in TNA and being a founding father of the Bullet Club. I mean, even Styles looked kind of shocked. And it was just a class act by John Cena, man. This was a respect match between both these gentlemen. Obviously, they have a storyline within themselves. There's rivalry there between Styles and Cena. And it was just a class act by John. And throughout the entire match, man, you had both Styles and Cena paying homage to some of the wrestlers that helped them in the business. I mean, you see Cena paying homage to Randy Orton with the RKO and the vintage DDT, Undertaker's choke slam, as well as his tombstone. You see AJ Styles hitting a Scorpion Death Drop, paying homage to Sting, who also helped AJ Styles in his career in TNA. You also see, just all the moments in this matchup, man. I think obviously one of the biggest moments in this matchup is when Styles was going for that springboard maneuver, probably springboard phenomenal forearm, and Cena catches Styles, and then he hits a Sister Abigail, man. It was just a great moment and a great way for Cena to pay homage to the late, great Bray Wyatt. And I thought it was great, man. It was actually kind of emotional, to be honest with you, man, because we lost Bray way too quickly. And it still resonates with fans today. He had a long time ahead of him, man. He still had a great career to go. And unfortunately, we lost Bray Wyatt. And, it just goes to show you how much Bray Wyatt meant to pro wrestling and what he meant to the pro wrestling fan base, man. Bray Wyatt, it's unfortunate. It's sad. He's deeply missed. I mean, I miss seeing Bray Wyatt. I mean, he was in some of the best storylines in all of WWE, to be honest with you. And the fact that, unfortunately he had passed away, suddenly it was a dark day for WWE and as a wrestling fan. So to see John pay homage to Bray Wyatt with Cena hitting that Sister Abigail on Styles, and you see all the fireflies in the crowd, man, it was just a great moment. It was an emotional moment for me specifically. I think a lot of other people too. It was just a great way to pay homage and respect to Bray Wyatt. It was just a great match, man. I mean, Samoa Joe with the Coquina Clutch too from AJ Styles, the Angel Wings paying homage to Christopher Daniels. I mean, it was a great way for these guys. I mean, this is the last time that you're going to see Styles and Cena in a match together. This is it. I mean, Cena's on his way out. He's got 5 matches or 5 dates left. And Styles already announced, even at the media scrum leading up to Crown Jewel, that 2026 is his last year. He's done, man. He's going to pack up and roll out and spend time with his family, and he's earned it. I mean, the guy has been wrestling for 25 years, man. And the fact that both these guys laid it out, everything in the ring, I thought this was a great match. It was a great moment. Aesthetically, it was awesome. The fact that they paid homage to some of these other wrestlers that helped them throughout their career, I thought was great. I thought it was a great time, a great moment for the fans and for Styles and Cena. But now the biggest question is what's going to be next for John. You know, we got 5 dates left. We know his retirement match is taking place in December for Saturday Night's Main Event. But that's another 2 months away. So I don't know when we're going to see John. I know we got another pay-per-views coming up for WWE leading into his retirement match, but I don't know. We might see John on Raw. I know John had his last show, visit on SmackDown. I don't know if they're going to put him on Raw. I don't know. But I know he's got 5 dates left, and he's got about 2 months left until it's over. And we already have his last match scheduled. I think it's early to mid-December in D.C. for Saturday Night's Main Event, which everybody and their grandmother is speculating who is going to be John's last opponent. Some people said Dominic Mysterio. I mean, hell, some people said Obafemi, The Miz. You know, there's even supposedly rumors of a tournament, and the winner of that will face the winner of that tournament will face John Cena in his last match. And there's also the speculation of Gunther. We have not seen Gunther in quite some time. I would not be opposed to seeing John Cena versus Gunther in Washington, D.C. for Saturday Night's Main Event. I think it would be a hell of a match. And the way that they can book this match, I mean, I think it would be incredible, man. I think it would be a hell of a match between both Gunther and John Cena for John Cena's last match. Absolutely. Absolutely. But as far as AJ Styles and Cena, I thought this was one of the best matches of the night. I think it was aesthetically pleasing, to be honest. I think the way they paid homage to some of the talents that helped them throughout their career from both John Cena and Styles. I mean, I mentioned Taker, Bray Wyatt. With AJ Styles, you had the Sting's Death Valley drop. You also had the Coquina Clutch from Samoa Joe. The Angel Wings from Christopher Daniels. So, I mean, these guys were paying homage to some of the guys that helped them out through their career, which I thought was awesome. I mean, John Cena hitting the RKO was great. I thought it was awesome, and honestly, those guys put on a hell of a match. And I even heard after that match was over, they had an actual standing ovation from some of the superstars and staff in the back, and rightfully so. Those guys earned it, they deserved it, and they put on one hell of a match. The other match I want to talk about, too, is Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Now, this match was a little bit different in the aspect between this match and the Cody Rhodes AJ Styles match. This match actually had solid build. There's a solid story here between Rollins and Cody Rhodes. I mean, from the vignettes to the video packages, the fact that Rollins actually helped Cody Rhodes finish his story and become the Universal Champion and dealing with Roman Reigns and The Rock and the Bloodline. I mean, Seth Rollins played a crucial part into that story, allowing Cody Rhodes to finish his story and become the Universal Champion. So there's history here between these guys. I mean, you go back to when Rhodes made his return to WWE. I mean, his first opponent was Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. You know, you had the Hell in a Cell match between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins where Rhodes had the torn pec and still had that matchup against Seth Rollins, and Rhodes was successful in that matchup, I believe. So there's some history here between both Rhodes and Rollins. And then we get to this matchup, and it's a whole different ballgame now. You know, Rhodes is the Universal Champion. He's QB1 of WWE. And then you have Seth Rollins, who's the World Heavyweight Champion, with the vision, and the vision that he has for WWE for the next 10, 15 years. So there's that animosity here. I told you guys before, man, there's a legit storyline here between both these guys because there's a little jealousy from Rollins. Rollins wants to be the top guy. I mean, he's mentioned multiple times now, whether it's a back and forth banter between him and CM Punk or now Cody Rhodes, where he didn't just up and leave and go to another company. I mean, Rollins said that he has stayed here since day one, since he came into the company. He didn't go to other companies and then wanted to come back. He stayed through the thick and thin of the good times and bad times of WWE, and he deserves to be the top guy. It's kind of hard to argue that considering what Rollins has done up to this point in his career. He's had some great moments, some great matches. He's been a part of some of the best storylines of all time. Hell, probably if not the best Money in the Bank cash-in of all time. So Rollins does play a crucial part in what WWE is doing across the board. Then Cody came in from obviously AEW. He was on the independents as well, but came over from AEW and solidified himself, man. He was a day one guy when he came in. He was the guy. Cody Rhodes was the flagship bearer, if you will, of WWE. He was the number one guy. He was the guy that everybody looked to in Cody Rhodes, specifically and especially after he beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I mean, it already put Rhodes in the top spot in WWE. So this might have rubbed Seth Rollins the wrong way and maybe had Rollins have a chip on his shoulder. Like, who the hell is this guy to come in here when he was gone? He was in another company, somewhere else, and comes in here and now he's acting like he's running the show when I've been here since day one. I didn't leave. I didn't go to some other goddamn company and come back and want to run roughshod on WWE. Who the hell this guy thinks he is? So obviously this is going to piss off Rollins. This is going to put a chip on his shoulder leading up to this matchup with Rhodes, and he's pissed. But at the same time, too, that we all knew that Cody Rhodes was in the, playing mind games, if you will, with Seth Rollins. For something, it didn't click with Seth Rollins. And we saw what happened. We saw leading up to this matchup, Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman having that back and forth banter. Rollins getting pissed off, telling, Seth Rollins, hey, don't rush the ring. Let's wait till Crown Jewel. And Rollins just couldn't help himself. And he was so pissed off that he rushed the ring. And unfortunately, with him rushing the ring, he ended up suffering a crossroads from Cody Rhodes, laying out Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring. Now we get the Crown Jewel and we get this matchup. But now people are thinking, or at least I am, was that, yes, Seth Rollins did beat Cody Rhodes in this matchup at Crown Jewel. But did he beat him clean? No, he did not. He used a watch and hit Cody Rhodes with the watch, which allowed Seth Rollins to secure a win over Cody Rhodes. That's why I'm saying that this storyline here between Rhodes and Rollins should not be over. If I was Rhodes, I would tell Rollins in a rebuttal, saying, well, yeah, you beat me at Crown Jewel, but you didn't beat me clean. The referee was taken out. You had to use a watch and use a weapon, if you will, to secure a win by beating me. You can't beat me man-to-man. You had to use everything in your arsenal to try to beat me, and even that, you still couldn't do it. So you had to use something else, a weapon, if you will, or a watch or whatever have you, a Rolex, to hit me in the face and allow you to secure a win with a foot stomp off the middle rope for you to actually beat me in the middle of the ring. You can't beat me man-to-man. You can't beat me in a straight-up match. So that right there in itself is a storyline in itself, and that's why I think Rhodes and Rollins is far from over, and it should be. That's why I think Cody Rhodes will be a part of this year's War Games with the Vision. Now, with the Vision, if we're looking at the narrative of a War Games matchup, I think it's usually 5-on-5. So right now, on both sides of the fence, I mean, you're looking at the Vision where you have Braun Breaker, you got Bronson Reed, you got Seth Rollins. There's two more guys into that picture. It could be Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. I know there was some rumors and speculation of possibly Austin Theory joining the Vision. To me, if I'm going to make an all-out War Games matchup, the top of the top War Games matchup, I'm adding on the Vision. Rollins, Breaker, Reed, Lesnar, and Drew McIntyre for the Vision's team leading into War Games. There's their 5. If we're looking at someone like Roman Reigns, I'm looking at Roman, Jimmy, Jay, possibly Cody Rhodes, and it's a wild card, man, because with Roman's team, because you can look at it, if you're looking at Paul Heyman's and the Vision, when you got Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. On the other side of the table, you have Roman Reigns, Jimmy, Jay, and 2 other superstars that will join Roman's team. You can look at Cody Rhodes, but then that 5th guy is going to be interesting due to Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. Is it going to be CM Punk? Is it going to be Jacob Fatu that joins Roman because of the hostility with Drew McIntyre, especially if McIntyre somehow joins the War Games stable with the Vision going into War Games? So it's going to be very telling to see how this is going to play out if it is, a 5-on-5 War Games matchup. for sure. But if I'm going into War Games, I'm going all out. I'm putting the top names in this war. Can you imagine, bro? Even though I'm not keen on him being back in WWE, and I'm not. But could you, I mean, from a business aspect of it, I'm just looking from a business aspect of things for a second. Not just a fan. The amount of money and revenue they would make of adding Brock Lesnar into a War Games matchup for the first time ever. In a cage, with a team, with division. With Paul Heyman at the realm of division. And on the other side of that, you got the likes of Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and maybe CM Punk, all on the same goddamn team leading into War Games. I mean, bro, you want to talk about a banger for War Games. Yeah, sign me up. Having those guys in a steel cage matchup, shit. Come on, bro. And honestly, I think that's the way it's going. And it should. Honestly, it should. Because no one knows what Lesnar's going to win right now. We know that Paul Heyman helped announce Lesnar for his matchup against John Cena at WrestlePalooza. But we haven't seen Lesnar since that matchup that he had with John at WrestlePalooza. We don't know what the hell Lesnar's doing. We don't know if Lesnar's going to align himself up with the Vision. Or he's going to be an asset to the Vision. Due to the fact that he is friends with Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman is at the realm of the Vision. He's the mouthpiece for the Vision. He might be the one pulling the strings for the Vision. So again, and Paul Heyman's always been a guy that always has a plan B. So what makes you think that Paul Heyman wouldn't be that kind of guy to call in a favor to a Brock Lesnar to try to get the Vision to solidify them a win at this year's War Games? I mean, think about that, bro. I mean, it writes itself. Whether people like it or not, it writes itself. And again, we're not going to see Lesnar for a while. We might not see Lesnar until the end of the month or the 1st of November. This might lead Lesnar into a storyline with him aligning himself up with the Vision to take out Roman Reigns and his team. So again, and then the other thing is too, is John Cena also has 5 dates left until we get to early to mid-December. So then you have to ask yourself this also question. Within the 5 dates that Cena has left after the match he had with Styles, are we going to see John Cena a part of this year's War Games? Where on Roman's team, it could be Roman, maybe Jay, Roman, Jay, Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena taking on Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. It's going to be, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's going to be very telling from Roman's side. A lot of the spotlight right now is on Roman. Roman had told Jimmy and Jay, well, you're not going to see me till December. But to me, we're going to see Roman at War Games, and he should be in War Games. But how Roman's team is going to stack up and how this team is going to come together leading into this year's War Games is going to be very interesting and very telling. Because like I said, we can get Roman and Jay. We can get Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and John Cena. Now, Jacob Fatu, that might be something as well. I don't know. If McIntyre does somehow align himself up with Paul Heyman, I can totally see Jacob Fatu somehow being a part of this year's War Games with Roman Reigns. Because right now, there's legit heat here between McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. For sure, especially what happened at this past week's SmackDown. Sure. So the build-up for War Games is going to be very telling. Very, very telling and very interesting, man. And I'm locked in for it. I am. I think it's going to be incredible. I also think, like I said, with Crown Jewel, I think it definitely surpassed whatever the hell we got at WrestlePalooza. Which, honestly, at the end of the day, man, it's a fucking shame that WrestlePalooza was as bad as it was, with a grade of a C, if you will, and amount of heat that they got from WrestlePalooza. It's a shame, bro, because at the end of the day, that card was stacked. From John and Lesnar, this was Lesnar's return match to WWE, whether people liked it or not. You had Punk and AJ Lee teaming up, taking on Rollins and Becky Lynch. You had Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky. I mean, this was a solid card, bro, to be honest. And compared to what we got at Crown Jewel, it's night and day. To be honest, in my opinion, night and day. I think Crown Jewel was way better. And I think WWE actually redeemed themselves with what we got at Crown Jewel compared to what we got at WrestlePalooza. I think whatever the hell happened with ESPN, I think it lit a fire under WWE's ass. And they were like, you know what? We can't have this happen again. We can't be embarrassed like that again. So we're going to put on a banger show for the fans. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that we're not going to get another card that might be shit in the eyes of ESPN. Because I told you guys, man, ESPN's pulling no punches. They're going to let you know exactly how you feel, whether you like it or not. They're not here to mess around or play games. They're going to tell you exactly how they feel. They're ruthless, man. They don't give a rat's ass how people feel. They're going to let you know how they feel. And if you don't like it, to hell with you. They don't give a shit. They don't give a damn. They're going to be crucial. This is not something where it's a Netflix thing, where Netflix is overly, abundantly happy with the product of what Raw is doing and what WWE is doing and all this other shit. No. ESPN is going to tell you exactly how it is. And quite frankly, bro, I don't blame them. If these companies are forking out all this money to acquire WWE, especially for like PLEs, I don't blame them for being crucial. I mean, you're forking out a lot of money to showcase WWE's product. I don't know. I mean, now, a lot of people get pissed off with criticism. Sure, a lot of people do. But it also shows you that WWE believe they're high and mighty, and they're not. They're not. But as far as this event with Crown Jewel, I think it was great, man. Not only that, the overseas fans, the fans in Australia, man, were awesome. Awesome. I remember, I think it was Backlash not too long ago. I think it was in France, if I'm not mistaken. The fans were absolutely incredible, man. The overseas fans are awesome. And the fans over in Australia for Crown Jewel, man, were awesome. They made the show even better than what it was. You guys over in Australia, man, are awesome. The fans over there are awesome. They made the show exciting, especially the matchup between Styles and Cena. It was great, man. Seeing the Fireflies and all that stuff, paying homage to Bray Wyatt. It was just a great moment in professional wrestling. And for wrestling, man, it's all about the storylines and it's all about the moments. And this matchup, I don't think anybody's going to forget this matchup. I know I won't. I thought it was a great match, man. The way they put this match together between Styles and Cena was done perfectly, in my opinion. Those guys laid it out on the line in the middle of the ring and gave you the best damn match that they can give you at this time in their career. Hands down. Especially with two guys that have been wrestling for 25 years. Two guys with, obviously Cena on his way out. And he's got 5 dates left, bro, and he is gone. And AJ Styles in that media scrum leading into Crown Jewel already announced to the world that in 2026 is going to be his last year in professional wrestling. And that he's going to go home and spend time with his family. I don't blame the guy, man. The guy has been putting work in as a professional wrestler for 25 years, man. Styles has earned it. Styles is an incredible athlete. He's an incredible wrestler. He's done a fantastic job throughout his career putting on banger matches. From his career in TNA that everybody knows Styles from to his time in WWE, he's had incredible moments and incredible matches. And rightfully so. He deserves to ride off in the sunset, just like John Cena does for the retirement. Absolutely. And this will be the last time that we will ever see a John Cena and AJ Styles match. And I was happy the way the match went and how the match ended. Absolutely, man. I thought Crown Jewel was incredible. I thought it was one of their top PLEs that we've gotten in a little bit of time now. And I look forward to the next PLE, man. I do. And there's a lot of questions coming out of Crown Jewel. What's next for the Vision? Who's next for Seth Rollins? What's the build looking like towards War Games for this year? What's next for John? What's next for Cody Rhodes? I mean, there's a lot of questions coming out of this year's Crown Jewel, man. So I'm excited for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I know Raw this week, tomorrow, is going to be at 8 a.m. Eastern because they're still over in Perth. So, again, I will have a review for you guys for Monday Night Raw as well. Just like I promised, I'll have one for Crown Jewel. I ain't going nowhere, man, and we're just getting started like I told you guys a couple days ago. But, yeah, man, I mean, this was a great show. It really was a great show. Could it have been better? Sure. Everything could have been better. But this show of what we got at Crown Jewel, I thought it was a really solid show. And I honestly believe that WWE kind of redeemed themselves from what WrestlePalooza was compared to what Crown Jewel was. I think Crown Jewel was a way better show than what we got at WrestlePalooza. But with that being said, this is my review of WWE's Crown Jewel.